Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We've been complaining for the last 2 years about how difficult it is to understand learning materials and the numerous tasks that have built up as a result of the pandemic, which has forced us to stay at home and study online. The honorable audiences, back then, we complain about backaches almost every day because we have to carry all those books in our backpacks. Gosh. And can you imagine sitting for more than 5 hours a day while trying not to snuggle on the table due to this heavy-eyed face? Bruh, we must stay focused. But it's exhausting and so boring, right? Worst of all, do you know what's the worst? We must memorize everything the teacher has taught us and copy all the book has said into this little brain. Why? For the exams, of course. As a result, we were treated more like memorizing machines than human beings who needs to comprehend the knowledge. And the pandemic is sort of shielding us against those things. Online studying at home while doing other activities is more relaxing and comfortable. I often even eat and fall asleep during class, but this enjoyable learning method causes us to be effortless and blurred on our studies. As a result, we are unable to comprehend the learning material. Furthermore, this online learning makes students feel like they've just lost a teacher figure, which has resulted in a decrease in their morale. It's difficult even to say, "Excuse me," or "I'm sorry," and "Thank you." Ladies and gentlemen, we gradually begin to shift to the new normal era, a new era that undoubtedly brings new habits, right? And a student, we cannot escape a brand new teaching approach called blended learning a few months ago. As Seymour said, blended learning combines the best aspect of online learning, structured face-to-face activities, and real-world practice. Online learning systems, classroom training, and on-the-job experience have major drawbacks by themselves. This was carried out to reduce gatherings while still managing the educational goals. Of course, adopting this blended learning was the only way to accomplish that intention. And we, as a student, must adjust to fit this blended learning too. But unfortunately, in my own experiences, learning material used during this blended learning were less attractive, making students less enthusiastic about participating in learning. Moreover, their reliance on the internet causes students to be less serious about learning because they genuinely think that everything they learn from the teacher can be found on the internet. We can get high scores without putting in a lot of effort. Right? As a student, I strongly believe that if we keep doing this, it will reduce or even worse, destroy the curiosity we should have. However, as Seneca once said, every new beginning comes from the end of another beginning. Like some kind of consequence, there will always be new beginnings and successive changes. The changes in curriculum and learning approaches that we are facing are only a small part of what we need to face. The show must go on regardless of difficulties and struggles. It all depends on how we face it. Will we survive or will we just stay still and being dragged by the current? Each of us has the same opportunity to make a decision anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, the implementation of curriculum in this special condition as regulated in the Decree of Minister of Education and Culture number 719/2022 concerning guideline of curriculum implementation on education for special condition is deemed incapable of dealing with learning loss that needs to be refined. And Merdeka Belajar curriculum is considered as the change should be done in the near future. And you know what? This curriculum has its leading dimension called Profil Pelajar Pancasila with its sixth dimension, namely faith, fear of God Almighty and noble morals, global diversity, mutual cooperation, critical reasoning, independent, and creative. Grow up our youth to face globalization through confidence and to take part in global problem solving. Youth with a strong personality related to the national character but can be convergent and able to blend in without losing their identity. The output, which includes the strengthening of appropriate competence and character, is bonded to Pancasila students for life, not only when they are a student at school. Incredible, isn't it? Venerable audiences, people may ask, can we adapt to this new one in this very moment? We will absolutely go through this transition period again, and learning that is focused on a certain field or department, of course, raises doubts on our ability as students to choose majors that will obviously shape our future. The rearrangement of a minimum competency assessment for the national examination raises concerns about national education standards. Will our passing scores be subjective? If that's the case, students will be among the most vulnerable parties in the implementation of this Merdeka Belajar curriculum. With this concept, it's also essential to consider about how human resources will adapt to Merdeka Belajar. Teachers are not the only one who must be equipped with the ability to direct their students to love learning both inside and outside of the classroom, to be willing to learn from the experiences of others, to be able to take lessons from the environment, and so on. But even so, students must also have a strong interest in the field of study they are learning, as well as a scientific attitude and good literacy and analytical skills. Such requirements cannot always be fulfilled because, as well as we know that each student has different capabilities, this is going to be our duties as students, also teachers, and all of education actors to help each other in the adaptation of these learning changes by equipping ourselves with readiness, willingness, and an open mind. So, in my conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, adaptation is the only way for us to deal with the swift currents of changes that continue to press us. Because essentially, adaptation is how organisms deal with environmental demands to survive, equally in terms of education. If we do not immediately adapt to the new learning system, we will be dragged away and far from being a Pelajar Pancasila figure committed by the future of our nation. As students, we must be prepared to face all forms of change, including changes in the learning system. In this curriculum, we are expected to be able to achieve life balance through thinking, feeling, doing with intention, and sports. The last but not least, the honorable judges and audiences. It's only after you step outside your comfort zone that you begin to change, grow, and transform. Righty Bennett. I'm Rakhmah Nur Olivia. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.